Welcome back. It's a good-looking market, Nifty respecting 21,700, but we've got an exclusive chat that is currently underway. I'm going to toss it over to Hiral, who's in conversation with RC Bhargava.
The new greenfield plant, which is the MOU with Gujarat for construction of the new automobile plant. And we're looking at a new production line as well, which is the fourth line. If you could help us understand more details of what are the plans with this going ahead.
Well, as far as the existing site of Suzuki Gujarat is concerned, which, as you know, Maruti has now recently bought from Suzuki, but it's still a Maruti subsidiary. We had 3 production lines there for 750,000 units. It's now been found that we can put in a 4th line at that site. And that 4th line is specially designed to manufacture electric vehicles. So the site will now have a capacity of 1 million cars a year, of which at this stage, one of the lines is dedicated to electric vehicle production. As you know, we have another plan of increasing our total capacity to 4 million cars by 2030-31. And we were looking for a site for the second plant of 1 million a year capacity. What we have signed with Gujarat is an MOU, which expressly states that Gujarat is the preferred state chosen by us, and that the plant will be set up there subject to availability of appropriate land. And we hope that this will be done in the next couple of months or so, and that we will get the production started there by 28.
Right. So my next question that comes to you is, plans absolutely firm with regards to the 4th line. With regards to the new greenfield plant, yes, you're looking at land availability, and that should be cleared in the next couple of months as well. So now we're talking about Manesar, Gurugram, Kharkhoda as well. What does this take the annual capacity for Maruti at, say, at the end of this decade then, if everything falls in place?
We will have 2 million in Gujarat, 2 million in Haryana, consisting of 1 million in Kharkhoda, and about 900,000 in Manesar. And the balance, the Gurgaon will be continuing with a lesser production than what we have now. How much it will be will depend on market conditions.
Right. So, Mr. Bhargava, overall, now from this portfolio, one line absolutely dedicated to electric vehicles. What percentage of the total total number of cars that Maruti will produce will be from the EV side?
The present estimate is that by 2030-31, something between 15 and 20% of our total production will become EVs, which of course can't be done with one line. And therefore, once this line is fully utilized, we will have to convert more of the existing lines to EVs. But actual how much will be produced will naturally depend on how the demand for electric vehicles progresses and what the customers decide they want in terms of vehicles with different technologies.
Right. So, Mr. Bhargava, it takes me to my next question. Yes, it's absolutely right that we have to wait and understand the demand specifically from a domestic market perspective. But when you talk about the electric vehicle saga, the global market is absolutely ripe. Does this actually open up opportunities for Maruti? Because we've always taken Maruti predominantly from a domestic market perspective. Exports is a huge market to tap the moment you look at EVs.
You're absolutely correct. In fact, when we start EV production by the end of this year, the first lot of cars which will be produced will actually, electric cars which will be produced, will actually be exported. And of the first model which we are introducing, in 25-26, the production will reach something close to 90,000 cars, and about half of these will be exported. Our target for export itself, as I think we have indicated earlier, by 2030-31, is between 750 to 800,000 cars, of which a certain percentage, I can't say exactly how much it will be electric cars.
So if you have to look at the number of models as well, you know, currently, if I'm not mistaken, 17 to 18 models is where Maruti is sitting on in terms of plans, right?
Yeah.
With all of this expansion, how many models will you take it to, number one? And out of those, how many will be electric vehicles?
Our estimate is that the total number of models will reach about 28, of which 6 will become electric cars, pure electric cars.
Okay, and the first EV is out by the end of FY24, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Now, like the way Maruti has been a champion in terms of small cars, right, with the revolution that you bought with the Maruti 800, do you think it's going to be the mass market segment in the EV space where Maruti will be able to then bring that revolution and we will see a deja vu?
You know, we have to wait and see, but my personal estimate is that the EV penetration first will be much easier at the upper end of the market. Suitable cars for the smaller segment or the beginning segment of the auto purchasers, as well as the customer psychology of the small car buyer is such that getting a large penetration of EVs into that segment is going to be a longer period of time requirement and a harder job to do. A lot of these car buyers at the bottom end may actually prefer to use cars based on biofuels. And we are very serious about developing biofuels as an alternative to EVs as the years go by.
Okay, this gets me to an interesting point over here. That means the strategy for Maruti is going to be that in the ICE segment, try and concentrate with the mass market. And if you talk about the electric vehicle, premiumization is going to be the key. Is that the correct understanding?
That's at the bottom end of the market. We will want to do this largely with biofuels. If biofuel development takes place fast enough. At the upper end, it'll certainly be EVs and hybrids. In the middle segment, I think it'll be a mixture of both EVs as well as other technologies like biofuels and hybrids. So it's, you know, India is not a uniform market. It's a very stratified market, starting from people who can barely afford a car to people who can buy the most luxurious of cars. So you have to cater your production and your technologies to the needs of these different segments of the market.
Right. And with regards to the revival of the small car segment in the ICE segment as well, you know, you've time and again in the recent past maintained that there is a downturn in terms of sales of small affordable cars.
Yeah.
And for the industry to grow and sustain a revival in this segment is absolutely key. How are you looking at that happening? Because, you know, what's happening over here is the disposable income in the hands of the consumer is increasing. And that is one of the reasons that probably people are not entering the small car segment. Are you optimistic of that revival?
I'm very, because, you know, the income is increasing. But remember, the fall in the requirement of small cars, as well as scooters in the country, happened when the cost of these vehicles went up very sharply following the transition to BS6 and the new emission standards. And it was not because suddenly people at the bottom end, the lower middle class, suddenly became so rich that they moved to bigger cars. If that was so, car growth would have been much faster, not at barely 3%, 4% over this last 4 or 5 years. And I'm believing, and our studies are showing that this is happening, that at the bottom end of the car market, what used to be the car market, which has become a scooter market, gradually the surplus incomes with people is increasing. And when this reaches the level of which used to exist in relation to car prices 4 years ago, people will start coming back to the small cars. The person who used to buy a small car today has not become rich enough to buy a 10 lakh car.
I agree with you on that front, but with the safety norms with Bharat NCAP as well, competition has moved on and they've said, yes, 6 airbags is what we will comply with. That does make the small car market absolutely expensive then. It's not affordable to maintain that same price strategy, the same price band. What is Maruti doing on that front then?
So that is why I'm saying it will become a higher priced car, which it has already become. But to buy that higher priced car, the disposable income of the buyer has to increase from what it is today. And we have been studying how this surplus is growing and what it relates to the increased price of the car. And our present estimate is that by 2026, we should see more people coming back into the small car market.
So 2 to 3 years is what it will take to get that revival happening in the small car market. But in the meantime, do you think, for a Maruti to sustain the SUV runaway that we are seeing will be enough? Because you have become a market leader with 3 successful SUVs, from Jimny to Fronx to a Grand Vitara. Will that help you sustain the downtick that we could see in the small car market?
We think that till the small car market revives, and with the efforts that we're making in the SUV market and the new models that will come in this segment, we will be able to maintain our leadership position even in the SUV segment and keep our full capacity fully utilized even till the small car market comes back.
Okay. And with regards to where the entire ecosystem goes, Maruti has been known to actually create the entire ecosystem around its production, right? I mean, that's what you did with Manesar as well when you started off. Localization has been one of the major challenges with EV as well. So what is going to be the plan with the entire EV ecosystem that you would want to start building then?
See, the biggest challenge for localization of EVs is the production of batteries in India. And by batteries, I mean not just the packaging of the cells to make batteries, but to make the cells in India itself. And that remains a challenge at present. We have started battery making, but those batteries which we are making in Gujarat are more designed for the hybrid car. And we have to look at how to localize the production of lithium-ion batteries or whatever new technology is coming into the battery manufacturing, so that this major component is localized in the years to come.
Okay. So from the hybrid perspective as well, you have a lot of models on the hybrid front. What is going to be the plan? Are you going to concentrate on hybrid as well?
Absolutely. I think hybrid is a very good technology for use till such time as there is a greater localization and the electricity generation in India has a larger percentage of clean electricity rather than coal-fired energy. As you know, today the energy which is generated is about almost 75% of that is coal-fired. And if you look at that, then the electric vehicles' ability to lower the carbon footprint is just not there. And okay, if we follow the CAFE norms, they look only from the point of view of the electricity. They don't look to see how the electricity is generated. But if you're looking at the total carbon footprint of the country, the more coal you burn, the worse it becomes. So we have to use technologies, and what I'm saying is that hybrid technology at the present level, mix of energy which is generated 75-25, has a lower carbon footprint than the electric vehicles.
Well, that is R.C. Bhargava of Maruti Suzuki in an exclusive conversation with us, talking about plans for Maruti, EV plans, and of course the outlook for the company over the next decade. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Abneesh Roy, Executive Director at Nuvama Institutional Equities, to discuss with him the story for FMCG. What's in store for FMCG stocks?